Okay, everybody, it looks like Tesla is starting to test the Cybercab on public roads. Here's a post from Sawyer Merritt on X. Breaking: Tesla Cybercab spotted testing on public roads for the first time. This was in Los Altos, California, about 10 minutes from Tesla's engineering headquarters. As would be expected at this stage, a person was in the driver's seat. Now, this coincides very closely with Tesla's planned production capacity ramp in the middle of next year, sometime around Q2 of 2026, where they're going to start building Cybercab vehicles for use, either internally or selling it to customers. If we look very closely at the picture, you can see that this is very obviously a Cybercab. Before this sighting, Tesla has been testing the Cybercab on private property. We've seen a lot of units driving around the factory here in Austin, their Gigafactory Austin location, on their private grounds. They're just kind of going around, going over objects, sort of turning around, so on and so forth. But this is the first time we've actually seen it in a public setting. What's interesting about this vehicle is that it does have side view mirrors, which are required by law. Obviously, this is not something that is allowed to operate a vehicle out there without side view mirrors. And then you can also see in the back here, there's no windscreen or glass for the back hatchback area. This is all part of the trunk. And then we can also see some manufacturer place, more than likely. This is going to be part of the process here for the next coming weeks and months. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these vehicles on the road testing, either in California or in Austin. It's going to be part of the validation process that the company is going to go through to ensure that they have the required parts, the required safety, the required engineering. Validation testing is what this is called, to ensure that they have a product that they can sell in the middle of next year. Usually when Tesla has these sort of test mules or these validation vehicles out on the road, it takes about 6 months or so, 4 to 6 months to start production of these vehicles. We've been getting a lot of reports from Joe Tegmeyer, who covers this very closely here in Austin, about all the different equipment that has been installed already in the Austin facility. All the necessary equipment, all the different lines and the processes are being implemented as we speak. On top of this, Tesla has also started hiring a lot more roles for the Cybercab. This is, again, from Sawyer Merritt. Tesla readies for Cybercab production in Gigafactory, Texas with hiring spree. The company has posted at least 30 new positions tied to the Cybercab, with most directly focused on manufacturing. Now, if I go on the careers website for Tesla, tesla.com/careers, and I type in Cybercab for the search results right here, we can see a big old list of stuff. Full-time in Austin, we got an equipment technician, an engineering technician for the battery, the drive unit, production control, and a bunch of other stuff as well, closure, facilities. And so this obviously is tracking to Tesla having this production line ready in the middle of next year. Now, the big debate that has been had in the Tesla community is going to be the cadence of how Tesla's going to release this vehicle in the wild, given that they're going to have some regulatory hurdles to jump through to ensure they can sell these vehicles to the public or operate them on their own. If you've been following this channel closely, you know that there's currently some limitations to how many vehicles can be sold per year for vehicles without steering wheels and pedals. Right now, there's federal regulation that is capping this at 2,500 units per year. There is some exemption language out there around this limit, but it's unclear if the 2,500 units is the exemption, or you can get an exemption that makes you go above this number. There's actually a great account on X called Joa that has reached out to NHTSA and has a meeting scheduled to discuss this topic specifically. So this is from Joa. NHTSA has responded. They are arranging a meeting with us for next week. I'll be speaking with the chief of the Automation Exempts Division. What questions do you want asked? And of course, one of the main ones that I asked on this thread, and others have as well, is does there need to be a law change for Tesla or any manufacturer to sell, own, or operate vehicles without steering wheel or pedals in the US significantly above the 2,500 unit yearly limit? NHTSA mentions exemptions. In theory, could Tesla get an exemption to sell 1 million Cybercabs per year without steering wheel and pedals? This is obviously a great thing for us to understand. For those of us that follow the story closely, this is going to be the key thing that's going to help Tesla actually sell those Cybercabs in the units that they want without the steering wheels and pedals. Really want to thank Joa for reaching out and securing this discussion. In case you're not familiar, Joa also sells a lot of accessories for Tesla vehicles, and I have a link specifically that you can use in the description in the comment section below. They have accessories for Model 3s, Model Ys, all kinds of Teslas. Make sure to use my code FARZA to get a discount on any order on the website. But this rule set is really going to dictate if Tesla's going to be able to run their line at full capacity, or if they have to come out with variants for that line to ensure that they can run it at full throttle. And this is within a backdrop where legacy automakers are pulling back on producing electric vehicles, which are the best possible types of cars to be operated autonomously. News. GM says it is laying off more than 1,700 employees at sites in Michigan and Ohio, citing a slowdown in the electric vehicle market. Again, from Sawyer Merritt on X. That's interesting verbiage from the legacy automaker, citing slowdowns in the EV market. The reason why they're saying this, more than likely, is that with the EV tax credit going away, which was paused at the end of Q3, really eliminated at the end of Q3, the $7,500 federal tax credit, companies like GM, Ford, and other legacy automakers are really going to struggle to sell their vehicles, especially compared to Tesla and existing gas vehicles, because these vehicle makers don't make a lot of money, if any. Actually, a lot of them lose money on electric vehicles, which forces them to have prices that can't be competitive in relation to gas cars or Tesla's vehicles. That EV tax credit helped these vehicle makers sell them at a comparable price, and the tax credit helped them at least not lose as much. But now with that credit going away, all these car companies are essentially taking a $7,500 increase on their price, which makes them completely uncompetitive versus everybody else. And this is a really unfortunate thing, honestly, for the US auto market, because now you have only one company, in this case Tesla, that's able to make electric vehicles at scale in the millions of units per year that are price competitive, that are also profitable. The legacy automakers no longer have this capability. This news from GM is one of many that has broken in the last few months, where automakers are pulling back manufacturing capacity here in the United States because of that EV tax credit going away. And then if you pair the self-driving technology that a company like Tesla has developed, where it's going to allow them to essentially operate a vehicle without you having to pay attention and taking you from point A to point B, especially with the latest software of V14, which shows a lot of promise to be able to do this, all of a sudden you have competitors that have nothing to compete against that solution. A fully self-driving car where you don't have to pay attention. If anything, a lot of these car makers are going backwards. They are stepping back from that technology, the electric vehicle that's really going to allow them to operate a fully self-driving car. They're stepping back from that. So as companies like Tesla are stepping forward, everybody else is stepping backwards. This is going to create an environment, from my estimation, next year in 2026, especially depending on how regulation starts to play out with the Cybercab and vehicles without steering wheel and pedals, where you're going to have one automaker in the United States, Tesla, that's going to be able to sell millions of units per year for cars that are potentially sub 30,000 with this modified Cybercab with the steering wheel and pedal that they're going to be able to build on the same line as the Cybercab, especially if regulations haven't been caught up, where you'll be able to go from point A to point B without having to pay attention at a very reasonable monthly cost, somewhere around $500 or $400 a month. And that pricing could include things like maintenance and insurance and charging, because Tesla controls that entire vertical. They have their own service centers. They already offer charging plans for people that live in Texas, as an example, and they have their own insurance division. So they can create an all-in-one product that's very affordable, and you don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to worry about ownership. You don't have to worry about anything. And the most important part is you don't even have to worry about driving. You just go in the car, you type in your address, you press the button, and it just takes you where you need to go. And then with enough time, it should be able to just drop you off at the front door of where you're trying to go, and then it will just go park itself. So you don't even have to worry about parking or paying for parking. Unclear when that's going to happen. It could happen next year. It could happen in 2027. It could happen by 2030. But it's obvious that Tesla is the only company that can do this. And as time goes on, that gap is going to become more and more obvious for more people to realize. And then that same exact technology will be applied to the human or robot, which should take the company to a completely different level. If you want to follow Musk industry closely, you want to be part of a growing community of people that are really intrigued and really passionate about what the future can look like, and very interested in how Musk industry is impacting the world and how these technologies are really shaping the future, I encourage you to go to farzad.fm to sign up to become a member. You'll get exclusive content, ad-free content, my entire YouTube catalog, exclusive newsletters, and exclusive Q&A with myself and my community every single week, as well as a 10% off merch coupon. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.